Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I talked about the WWE, and as you all know, it's the January transfer window. Some it's not as active of a January transfer window as other January transfer windows have been, but some teams are making moves, and I just thought I would talk about them just briefly. But this video was majorly on the WWE and the Monday Night Raw, uh, live on Netflix, debuted on Netflix. So Monday Night Raw will be aired on Netflix from now on, and it was a beautiful, brilliant live event with stars like John Cena, The Rock, Undertaker, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, uh, Rhea Ripley. It was a star-studded event, and personally, I think WWE, you look at, and I think it's a pattern I have seen that has been set on towards the back end and beginning of now 2025, because towards the back end of 2024, Hollywood in general stopped. Okay, let me not Hollywood in general per se, but then I will talk about the part of Hollywood that I find entertaining, and that's comic book movies. And you look at DC and Warner Bros. They went back to Superman, who had. You remember the Superman comics where Superman had an underwear on top of his suit? You know, the way fans loved that Superman. You hop on to Marvel. Marvel had Kang the Conqueror as the main villain of the multiverse saga, but then Jonathan Majors with his legal issues, blah 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 blah. So they had to cut out Kang the Conqueror, and instead of recasting Kang the Conqueror, they totally replaced him and placed Doom as the villain of the multiverse saga. And in the comic books, there is a somewhat of a multiverse saga time, but then the multiverse saga in the comic books, it's called time runs out storyline, where Dr. Doom is the main villain, steals powers from from creatures called the Beyonders, who are like anchors of their world, and Marvel is trying to adapt that story with Doctor Doom, and then uh, Robert Downey Jr. started the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man 1, 2, 3, and since they saw a couple, like Marvel has been getting else from a terrible She-Hulk flopped. They've been making okay, they've in phase 4, the movies I think that really got me are Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Was a nice Sam Raimi movie. It wasn't a good Marvel movie because it was more of a Sam Raimi project than a Marvel project. Thor Love and Thunder was terrible, 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 and they've been stacking up L after L's after L's after L. Even the Marvels was a flop. She-Hulk flop. They've been racking up L's and L's and L's. So they brought in the Russo brothers, who oversaw the phase 1, 2, 3 of Marvel. That's the Infinity Saga, and we have some really brilliant movies during the Infinity Saga. Two of my favorite actually, and that's Infinity War and Endgame. And the Russo brothers, two of my role models when it comes to directing. Two of my role models when it comes to directing, and the Russo brothers oversaw that period of time, and guess what? When the chips were down, Marvel brought them back. Marvel brought Robert Downey Jr. back to play Doctor Doom. We can see the same thing happening in the WWE right now. Uh, the WWE, Roman Reigns is back to being the tribal chief. And yeah, he's a fan favorite, but then he has no titles. He's already had a storyline with Cody Rhodes where he lost to Cody Rhodes. Um, Drew McIntyre is coming from for the OG bloodline, but then I feel like Drew McIntyre is like levels below Roman Reigns, so I don't think Drew is not a worthy opponent for Roman. Seth Rollins doesn't have a title and wants nothing to do with Roman. He's chasing his own storyline with CM Punk. I feel like Roman, and this is an idea that was put in my head placed in my head by my best friend Edu. We were arguing, not arguing per se, but then we were talking about the WWE as we always do, and he told me I would like to see Roman lose the tribal combat, and Roman is one of my top 5 best wrestlers of all time. As you all know, Triple H is my favorite wrestler of all time, but then Roman Reigns is in the top 5. And hearing that, I was bruised because I was like, how? No, like OTC, he's the only tribal chief, the original tribal chief. Why would you want him to lose? But then he was like, I will just want to see what will happen. You know that gasp, that I can't believe it, that I can't believe it thingy. You know, because they missed a chance with Cody Rhodes. But then, Roman had been champion for a while. He was negotiating for a new contract and he had other projects outside. So that forced Roman losing the title, that he can go out, focus on whatever he was focusing on with his cousin, The Rock. Then he will come back. So with a new contract and all that, yet that data stuff. So I get it from that perspective, that storyline. I understand it. That's why Cody is champion right now. But then Roman had already been champion for like so long. So like I think it was time for him to like surrender the title to someone else. But then I was thinking Solo is the tribal chief. Was the tribal chief right now. Right now, the tribal chief is Roman, but then Solo was the tribal chief. And the fan favorite to win the tribal combat was Roman Reigns. But then I was thinking, why don't WWE put themselves in an uncomfortable position where they have to do more work instead of going through the easy route? Okay, the fans love this. Let me give them this. You don't know what the fans will love. That's why you paid the millions to do whatever you're doing, and I'm not. So I think WWE should have put themselves in an uncomfortable position in that let Solo Sikoa win the tribal combat. Let me just make it easier and just give you say a multiverse theory in a different universe where Solo Sikoa wins the tribal combat. People will be like, oh, that gasp, like, what the, wasn't expecting it. Wouldn't be really a boo moment because some people will be feeling sorry for Roman. Some people will be like, oh, I really want to see what's next. I really do want to see what's next because Solo Sikoa has star quality. It's just that he's still raw. He still needs to nurture his talent. So, say Solo wins the tribal combat, right? There's this storyline where Paul Heyman owes CM Punk a favor. What if the favor is Paul Heyman ceases to be Roman's wise man and comes in to be CM Punk's wise man, an advocate? Same way he was wise man and advocate for Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker. What if that was the favor? Jey Uso is trying to follow his solo career. Jimmy Uso is also trying to follow his solo career, and Sami Zayn is also trying to follow his solo career. And for the longest time, Roman will claim that he is the island of relevancy. Okay, let's literally put him in an island where he is alone. Let him figure, you know, like that point in a movie where the beautiful chick realizes that she's not really beautiful anymore, and she has to work on her personality and really actually become an actual person instead of acting like she likes this, she likes that, when really she doesn't. Because Roman Reigns didn't have a character development. When he needed people back, Jimmy came back after whatever Roman did to him. The wise man came back after Roman leaving and leaving the wise man alone. So Jimmy and the wise man came back. Roman didn't have to work a lot for them to come back. Jimmy convinced Jay to come back. And Jay convinced Sami Zayn to come back. And the wise man convinced CM Punk to come back. So Roman didn't have to do anything. Literally, he didn't really have to work on himself to stop being an asshole. Sorry, I cursed. He didn't have to work on himself. So Solo is not the best, but then he is the tribal chief, and he learned his skills of being a tribal chief from Roman Reigns. So what happens if Roman loses the tribal combat? Solo is the tribal chief, and Solo feels sorry for Roman Reigns in that comes to Roman and says, I learned whatever I learned from you. And if you acknowledge me as your tribal chief, I can restore you back to your former glory. You can come back into my circle and we can work on something together. You can rule beside me. You can rule with me. The storyline. You remember, if you have watched the originals, and I remember telling Edu this, like the originals, the storyline between Marseille and Elijah's brother. What was his name? I don't really remember. But if you watch the originals, then you understand what I'm saying. You know, Solo tells Roman, "Come rule with me. Come be my wise man. Teach me." Okay, you see that I'm not ruling in the right way. That's why you wanted to be tribal chief, right? Come and show me how to be tribal chief. Teach me. Show me this is the way. Come and be my wise man. And let's get revenge. Let's build this tribe back up. Then like you can have a storyline in that where like Roman is in the bloodline but not really in the bloodline, maybe wants to sabotage Solo, you know. Or maybe you can have a storyline where Roman mentors Solo into going for the WWE Championship, winning it, and they can rule together, forming a bloodline that's even stronger. You know, I think that's a really nice storyline that I'd be invested in. Instead of going the easy route, yeah, Roman won. Okay, what's next? What's next for Roman? Because John Cena is back now. John Cena being back his last year, you can tell he will win the Royal Rumble. That for sure. He will get a title match at WrestleMania. I don't know what title he'll go for, but who's the weaker opponent? Gunther or Cody Rhodes is beloved. I think they'll turn Gunther heel. Okay, Gunther is already heel, but then he can hold his own. He's like Brock Lesnar. He's a heel, but then, you know, I can hold my own. So you put yourself between a rock and a hard place where John Cena's back. Roman Reigns is back in, fully invested in the WWE because he is the tribal chief. He has to appear, right? He has no bloodline because every other person in his initial bloodline is off doing different things. Or maybe they'll flip it and put it like, hey, Solo lost, Solo is sulking, Solo doesn't know what he's up to, and Roman comes and picks him up like a sensei, like, hey, it's not all over. We can still rebuild. You have a you I am the king, I have no soldiers. You were the former king,